Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the model 5. Here we categorize into three units here. The unit 1 is the transducer, unit 2 is the instrumentation amplifier using transducer bridge, and the unit 3 is the programmable logical controller. Today's in this lecture 13 we are going to discuss about what is the basic idea of the transducers, its different types and how they can be categorized. Then we'll look into the how the the transducer can be selected using any of the for any applications. But before we need selecting and transducer, you should know the characteristics. That also will be discussed here in this model or in this lecture. So first, what do you mean by transducer? You know the transducer is nothing but it's convert one form of energy to the another or the one system of energy to the another system. So that we call as the transducer. Usually one form of energy, that's the energy has been received given to the input, that can be converted into the another type of energy there. Okay, usually the input can be calculated by or it can be actuated by some of the energized input, and then it has been transferred into the transmission media, generating its related energy in one or more systems. Like some might be the transmission medium will be different, but what we are expecting the output is the specified input what we are measured, and that has been converted depending on the what is the input and what is the output from the categorized. On that we can classify. Usually it is having a physical quantity, or it can be measured in terms of a electrical one, or it might be a electrical input and we can expect a mechanical output, some kind of a movements or any kind of the energy which can be utilized for any of its tasks. So as I said, this can be transmitted by this stream, any of maybe like electrical, mechanical or acoustic. You will have a clear idea when we go discuss about one or the other different types there. Usually the output or of the transducers might be the basic principle. Usually design is involved in their design. As I said, the output might be analog, digital or frequency. So usually we categorize into the as per our needs. So usually we divide or classify into two types: transducer, electrical, the or the mechanical. We can classify the transducer into usually two types: electrical and mechanical. We need not worry about the mechanical here, but I'll give you some idea. Usually the mechanical might be some kind of the physical quantity might be exerted on it, like on a sensor parts or something input, and which can be expecting a mechanical output or some kind of a electrical output. Usually when we go for example some waveforms, like when you go for this kind of a category, like in the electric generating machine, the turbines and all. So what they are doing, they are making to fall the water on a one part of the mechanical instrument, or it might be a device or anything, the system we say, and that is categorized or that is converting that the physical energy what is exerted on that, and it is converted a dynamo or some kind of a electrical energy is generated. So that we usually the mechanical. We do not worry about it now. Now we need to worry only about the electrical. So an electrical transducer is a sensing device by which the physical, mechanical or a optical quantity can be measured, is transformed directly by a suitable mechanism into a electrical or a voltage proportional to the input measure. Like as I said, what is the electrical transducer? Is a whatever the input you are giving, and it is sensed by one of the instruments, and that is like some of the medium by the physical or mechanical or optical. Physical means some of the sensors, or mechanical might be either side of the car turbine. Optical fiber might be light where the lights has been given as the input in the optical fiber communication. So that is transformed into some kind of a electrical voltage or current proportional. It's always proportional to the input measure. Some noises might be added to it. Okay, we'll look into it, the block diagram. An electrical transducer must have the following parameter. It should be linear. How? Whatever the relationship between the input and the output of the physical parameter at the input and the resulting parameter at the output of the electrical signal must be linear. Whatever we give the input might be the output. Slight variation of the error might be there, so that might be due to the system. So we have to consider whereas I say it is in the calculation part. Next is the sensitivity. It is usually what is the electrical output per unit change in the physical parameter. For example, voltage per degree for a temperature sensor. So higher the sensitivity is generally desirable for a transducer. So what is that? Even it's change in the point 1, point 2 also, that the effect has to be shown in the output. It doesn't mean that only has to give the reading for the whole numbers or the maximum numbers like. So that's the common desire, that the common expected output for even small sensitivity also. Next, the dynamic range. The operating range, usually the dynamic range is nothing but the operating range. It should be very wide. It shouldn't limit to a small range. So more the wider range, more it will be useful for any of the applications. Next is the repeatability. What should be the input and output relationship for a transducer should be predictable over a long period of time. How this is reliable, you might ask. Is the input and output, whatever the slight, like if you are expecting 1 and should have expected at the 2 volts at the output, it should be almost the similar type what we are expecting there. So what is happening, this ensures the reliability of the operation. So we can expect some, for example, like we are expecting, as I said, 1 in the input, we are given 1 volt in input and output should be 10 volts, but it shouldn't change too much there. It might slightly vary by 10.1, 10.2, but it shouldn't be a long fluctuation that might affect a transducer or any system effects. Next is the physical size. As I said, it shouldn't be a big instrument, so it should have a minimal weight and volume, so that the big instrument might affect some of the factors like vibration, the noise, anything extra. So that's the consideration. It should be a physical size should be a very minimal. And usually we have all the sensors and all. Very good example is the transducer is the what we are used in the phones and all. Whatever you are talking, it is always converted into the electrical signal, and that is passed in the form of a waveform that's we call as a system, and then we have getting it into the receiver part or the received part of the mobile phone where you are talking to any friend, and that is again the waveform has been converted into electrical signal, and then we are connected into the voice signal. That's the analog there. Okay, so what are the advantages of electrical transducer? As I said, amplification and attenuations can be done easily. As you are listening your mobile phone, you can amplify your volume there. You can make it less or make it more. And then some of the mobile phones or some of the devices might be having attenuation noise, or that is the removing of the noises can be done. Next one is the mass inertia effects are minimized. Mass inertia is like the effect of the physical. Usually we go for the physical effects of the devices. As I said, if the devices are minimal size, the mass and the inertia, the whatever the pressure with respect to the gravity, will be minimized. So there may not be addition of a noise to it. And indirectly, it is like saying that effect of friction also minimized. And in an electrical transducer, it can be indicated and recorded remotely at the distance from the sensing medium. Like when you are at the far place, you need not go there and calculate whatever the values there. Okay, it can be, you can stand at anyone and you can see this. Like we are using the IoT technology now. Next, the output can be modified to meet the requirement of the indicating and the controlling unit. The output is modified and seen as per what we require. For example, when you are using in the labs, what you are doing, you are converting it to some certain values and keeping it in that way. Or when you are going for some of the musics and also, you keep it to a certain level and you can control by controlling unit. Like that only we can see in the big of the machineries on the devices and all in the big factories and all, where it is indicating, okay, so capacity they were depending on the density, you can say that, or depending on the thickness of any of the material, you can see and monitor, and you can say okay, we require again less or we require again more. The signal can be conditional or mixed to any combination with output of the similar transducer or a control signal. Here, what we are doing, the condition signal we can obtain or we can mix to obtain a circuit. For example, when you're going for the songs and all, the voice is given to a separate, and there are background musics where we have using a piano, tabla, or a drums and all. That's it are like different devices. They are mixed together and combined to give a very good song or melodious songs we say. Next, the electrical or electronic system can be varied with a small power, low power signals. Yes, but we are using a very low power when you compare to the the electrical output can be used, transmit and proceed for a purpose of measurement. That's what we are using in a in a medical purpose and all. The whatever the signal rays or power, and we are taken it back, and you are transmitted for a process for a purpose of measurement, or it can be used for a thermometer where a temperature sensor will be at the tip and you are given it to your body, and the displaying unit will be there where you're saying okay, temperature is so. So these are the different advantages of electrical transducer. And here usually we can categorize into or broadly classified into two material categories, active and passive. This might be terms in the many of the subject, active and passive. Active means it has their own energy, passive means it has been given by support by the other factors there. Here in the active transducer and the passive transducer, I'll go with the comparison. Active transducers are energy conversion. Usually the principle works on the energy conversion. Whatever the energy has been given, it has been transferred from one to the other. The passive transducer is the energy control. It acts as a controlling unit. Okay. This don't require any source of power because as I said active they have their own source. But passive transducer usually required a external source to for this operation. They are active transducer are usually self-generating type. Passive transducers are non-self-generating. They require an external source. From the second point we can relate it. Next, they produce electrical parameters such as voltage, current proportional to the physical parameter under measurement. As I said, they produce an electrical parameter. As I said, the voltages current are produced as per to the whatever the physical parameter has undergone the measurement. For example, if a pressure or a strain, everything has been applied to the sensors at the receiver, the input. So similar variation has been given as the output there. Here, they produce change in the parameters such as inductance, resistance, and capacity in response to the parameter under measurement. So here we are seeing the characteristic of the whatever the extra parameter present in the that system. These are the passive. Here we don't see the input. We just see the category of the whatever the parameters are reacting. So example, thermocouple and the photocells. Thermocouple is like we are using on your own. Photocells, you know what we are using this solar. RTD is the resistance thermometer device. The LVDT is a linear variable differential transducer. Okay, this LVDT you will be studying here in detail in this module. As I'll go with the structure. You might be having some confusion or some doubts on this. A transducer usually will have a sensor. Okay, this is a sensor what we'll be using that we call as the input whatever giving. Here the sensing element will be there. Any sensors will be used, and that has been transformed into the some other the factors what we are expecting as the output. This is the main, and that what is giving as the input here, that is conversion factors is done here. It might be a physical or change in some physical manner. So this is what the whole transistor part. So which are the transition elements it might be seen? For example, the resistive, it might be a resistive circuit, or it might be inductive, capacitive, piezoelectric, photoemissive, photoresistive. So it depends on the what are the devices, or what are the voltages given here, and that is affected by the standards. Okay, what it is doing, whatever the values you are getting, or some of the voltages or some of the current you are getting, depending on here, the reaction or the conversion of the physical phenomena is making it to react the whole power. Okay, this is what the actual transition element. As I said, the resistive capacitive inductives are what? A passive transducer. So they require some input or something what we can measure. You can take an example of a resistor. When you give voltage to it, the corresponding the current, or what we can find, or the depending on the heating element we can find. Okay. Next, how to select a transducer? As we know all these things. First, the main factor should be operating range. It should have a maintain a very good range and good sensitivity, or what is a good stable range we have to get. It doesn't mean that the fluctuation is not a very good sensitivity. It should give a sufficient output. So slight change or anything is that has to be given in terms of a output. Frequency response and the resonant frequency. It has to be very flat. Why flat? Why? Because if any the fluctuation or the variation is there, we cannot determine on what frequency or the what factors it has to be done. As we know, f is equals to 1 by t. So it indirectly it affects the t. So that's the factor. The frequency response and the resonant frequency should be the same there. So it can tell, okay, we have to look for a desired range, and we have to set whatever the process into the that frequency ranges. The environmental compatibility, we should see that the temperature range. So you have to see for the heating of the elements, or the extra pressures, the shock or interaction, the size and the mounting restrictions, even some kind of a corrosive fluids. So that all the factors has to be considered here. There has to be minimum sensitivity to expected stimulus other than measuring. So for example, when you're giving only I'm speaking in the phone, so that time it has to try as per as the maximum the background noise other than what I am speaking. So some mobile phone has that factors, some doesn't, or some of the devices have that factors. So that has to be considered. Next, the accuracy, the repeatability and the calibration errors, as well as errors expected with sensitivity to the other stimulus. So repeatability has to be the same. So calibration errors has to be less, made to be less. The calibration as error has to be done very regularly so that it doesn't affect the next process. Usage and ruggedness. So depending on the system, the size has to be done. What I like the calculation has to be done. It doesn't like the small instrument will have a maximum unit, or them, so it has to be like a ruggedness. Like it has to be very properly serviced and maintained everything. The usage it has to be known properly, where is the input, where is the output, and how much the factors has to be given, and how much the output has been expected. Electrical parameter. Depending on the length and the type of the cable required, so it can calculate the signal to noise ratio, and with the amplifier you will give the frequency response limitation. So it depends on what the factors, the frequency, the cable, the transmission time. So if you make it little less the time, the cables and all, so we can have a little less kind of a the times. So it's a minimal error, but we have to be considered. High output for processing, digital output is preferred. Yes, wherever we go, the digital output is preferred. As I said in the previous models and all. So whatever we are expecting, whatever the output we are expecting is expected in forms of a digital, so that it can given to the sum of the system and then can be calculated. And we need not have a manual. All the computational error or the computational, the graphics, everything has to be done digitally, so that it can be done, the human power can be made less. Next is the speed of the response. So it has to be very high as tractable. It shouldn't be like now we are given the pulse of the some patient has to be calculated now, and it gives after half an hour and the patient has gone dead. So that all factors has to be done. So it has the response has to be speed. Whatever the sensor, the sensing element is taking the reading, it has to be calculated the proper output. That's it. Okay. So HSQLC is the reference for you. So other two are the references, extra references. So HSQLC is the standard book what you has to be referred for this module and the lecture. Okay. Thank you.